So of course I start playing, and the minute I start playing, he kicks the screens over, gets the acoustic guitar, smashes it on the floor in bits, walks straight over, and comes right up to me like this. At this point, I haven't got a friend in the room, you know, because everyone's going. We just world tours opening up for Genesis all around everywhere. Yeah. But yeah, it was a great band.
Great band. And you speak about great bands. Another great band is The Who, and you played with them, you toured with them. I mean, how on earth did that come about? That's incredible.
I know. Yeah. I don't know. It's the same thing again, you know. I saw The Who as a teenager.
Yeah.
I saw them, and I mentioned this to John Entwistle. I saw them when they as a three-piece without Roger Daltrey. When I was a mod up in Manchester, we got word that the Who were doing a secret gig over in Bury, like a top-ranked palais thing. So we drove over there on scooters, you know, and there's about 20 of us in there. Keith Moon's drum kit, The Who, two stacked, and they played without Roger Daltrey. And I remember speaking to John Entwistle afterwards at the bar. I said, "What?" He said, "Yeah, I know he's done too much speed. You know, he was in hospital." He subsequently told me, years ago when I played with The Who, he said, "No, what you saw was a gig because Pete has always not got on with Roger. And so he was trying it out without Roger. Roger didn't know they were doing gigs without him." Anyway, so yeah, and I saw them do Tommy at Free Trade Hall, Manchester. So I'm seeing The Who, who was just like one of the best live bands ever then, with Mooney in the band. It was just I saw 3 gigs and everything, like, not once did it even cross my mind, you know. Number one, you know, he's a guitar player. It would never cross my mind that I'd be playing with them, you know. So it went like this. I hadn't worked for a while. I was married with a 1-year-old kid. My wife was having an affair. She worked in Harley Street, having an affair with a heart surgeon. I ended up in Harley Street screaming, "Fix this motherfucker," you know. And so one day, in Southeast London, my phone rang. And I'm boiling some eggs. I thought, that's it. I'm giving up music. That's it. So I picked up the phone, my landline, and his voice went. He said, "Boltz." I said, "Yeah." He said, "It's Pete Townshend here." I went, "Yeah, right." Okay. He said, No, it is. Don't hang up." He said, "Listen, I've got a question for you. Will you play lead guitar for The Who?" I said, "Excuse me?" I said, "You know, aren't you?" He said, "Yeah, but I've got a hearing problem. And there's only 2 people in the whole world that asked this question. One's you and the other's Joe Walsh." And quick as a flash, I said, "We can't have Joe Walsh, can he? He's American. And you can't have a septic in the U, you know." He said, "Yeah, I suppose you're right." He said, so he asked me to go around to his studio in southwest London. So I went around there, we had a quick play, I played him some stuff, and he said, "Great." And so before I knew it, I was driving every day from southeast London to what's that studio called? Out on the Thames, on the Rehearsal studio, with boxes of cassettes that they sent me. Because you've got to remember, this is before the internet.
Yep.
We'll see. So boxes of cassettes. And my Who knowledge was like the first album, Who's Next, a bit of Quadrophenia. Then after that, I had no knowledge. You know, I'd sort of like, I didn't particularly like them after that. You know what I mean? It was just Rough Boys, yeah, whatever, and all that. But I was like, and my head was swimming with all this stuff. So I had to learn like about 110 songs, one of which was the whole of Tommy, you know, and I had charts all over the floor and everything. And so, but it was, and also on top of that, Pete Townshend said to me, he said, "Listen," he said, "I'm not going to be there for the first 4 weeks of rehearsal. Neither's Pete, neither's Roger. So they got a musical director in who didn't like me. He wanted his friend in the band. So it was all these obstacles, you know." And he said, "I want you to do your thing." He said, "I'm a big fan." Well, I had actually, before that, I've been down at the studio in Sussex with Pino Palladino. And we were driving back in my car, and he just casually mentioned that before I got the phone call, Pino said, he said, "You know," he said, "I was with Pete Townshend yesterday in the studio because he was doing the White City album." He said, "He was asking about you." I went, "He was asking about me?" He said, "Yeah, he's a big fan. he got on the desk and did a complete impression of it. So I stopped the car on the motorway. I said, say that again. He said, yeah, he did a great impersonation of you. So I was kind of primed in a way that, you know, so this would happen. Anyway, so Pete said, he said, so I want you to do your thing over the top of the band, you know. He said, because I love what you do and everything. He said, but because I'm not going to be there, I want you to play the rhythm parts as well. So I want you to cover for me because I won't be there. So I said, yeah, great, right. So not only have I got to learn these songs, which was like on charts, you know, books and books and charts and chord. I can read chord charts, but there comes a point when you don't want to look at bits of paper or like a auto cue. You want to play the songs, you know. So yeah, it's very bizarre. I'll tell you one quick story.
Yeah, please.
The Ox came in. He was the first one to come after their publicity tour of America. So the Ox came in, the loudest bass player in the world, but most softly spoken. And then Roger came in, who's like stripped to the waist, right, my band. But then Pete came in, and it's like obvious that Pete was the boss. So we're in this huge room at Norman Studios, which is made really small because we had screens up, and they built a little house for Pete, like with sound screens and windows, and they put little speakers in our picture of the Queen and flowers and everything, because he was going to play acoustic guitar to help save his tinnitus, because he was in this little box, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we're still not playing this. We got horn section, we got percussion, we got backing vocals, we got the thing. We got like, and I've got paper all over the floor for all the songs. So Pete comes in, miserable as fuck, you know, like as he is. And this minion comes down and goes, Pete would like everyone to play the overture from Tommy. Because like the overture is like bits of it. There's an overture for Tommy, you know, thing in a different key and thing. So right, so like everyone were looking down at the paper, you know, playing. And there comes this bit about 4 minutes in. It's like the intro for Pinball Wizard, but in a different key, G. So I thought, I know this bit's coming up, and I know what he's told me, right? But they've given him a guitar, and he's in this box with an acoustic guitar. I'm not actually looking at him because I'm too busy trying to figure out what's kind of. So it comes to this bit, and there's a bang, and there's nothing. So I look across the room, and he's like that with his arms folded, and he's looking broken Rickenbackers at me. He's just staring at me. So of course I start playing. And the minute I start playing, he kicks the screens over, gets the acoustic guitar, smashes it on the floor in bits, walks straight over, and comes right up to me like this. At this point, I haven't got a friend in the room, you know, because everyone's going. And he goes, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "That's my fucking bit there. Leave me something to do, for Christ's sake." Right, so I thought, I'm not going to take this. So I pulled him gently by his suit lapels. I said, "Listen, you've been away, swanning around America doing publicity. I've been covering for you here, and that bit there, I've been covering for you because I know that's your bit. And then but now you're here, and I saw you got an acoustic guitar, so I assumed that you were going to do that bit." And you know what he said to me? He said, "Listen, it's my band. I can do whatever the fuck I like." And walked away. So, you know, fun and games. But, you know, it was just it was a mind-boggling thing, really. You know, like 100,000 people every night, and it was great.